Balderdash, John Newbery and the Boisterous Birth of Children's Books. Welcome. This book is for you. Every page, every picture, every word, and even its letters are designed for your pleasure. Lucky, lucky reader, be glad it's not 1726. Then you'd be that sad little child right there. In those days of powdered wigs and petticoats, England was brimming with books. Books of pirates and monsters and miniature people. Tales of travel and quests and shipwrecks and crimes. At the fairs, in the market stalls, in the bookshop windows were hundreds of wonderful books, but not for children. Oh no, children had to read preachy poems and fables, religious texts that made them fear that death was near, and manuals that told them where to stand, how to sit, not to laugh, and scores of other rules. Because the future champion of children's books was just a lad. His name was John Newbery. The boy lived on a farm, but fancied reading more than forking hay. So, upon coming of age, he set off to work for a printer. John got a kick out of type sticks and type stands and chases and coins. He came to love galleys and presses and the smell of fresh ink. As soon as he was able, John became a publisher himself. Then he went big time. He moved to London, the center of the bookselling trade. Smack dab in the heart of the book marketplace, in St. Paul's churchyard, he found a place for a store. Brilliant. The streets were bustling with tradesmen, doctors, lawyers, clerks, and many other eager readers. John wanted to publish fine books for the whole lot of them, and all their children. He knew the youngsters were hungry for stories. Many boys and girls handed coppers to street hawkers for ugly chapbooks of fairy tales or for chopped-up versions of grown-up books. John liked children. Why shouldn't they have delightful books of their own? John, what were you thinking? What about the parents? Many mums and dads worried that if their little nippers read fun books, they'd turn wild as beasts. Balderdash. Reading should be a treat for children. That's what a famous philosopher wrote, and John agreed. So did two other publishers. One issued a book with alphabet rhymes and well-known stories, and the other printed itty-bitty books about animals, plants, and local buildings. John wanted his first book for children to be irresistible. There'd be letters from Jack the Giant Killer. There'd be pictures of Pitch and Hustle, Hoop and Hide, Blind Man's Buff, and other children's games. Plus ABCs, proverbs, and other classic material, and for an extra punch, a message to mums and dads. He ordered gilt floral paper for the covers and titled his creation A Little Pretty Pocketbook. Price of book alone 6 pence with a ball of or pincushion 8 pence, the notice read. A book and a toy? Why had no one else thought of that? Then John set his bright books in the window of his store and wondered, will the parents buy them? Are they too cheerful? The children gobbled them up like plum cakes. John thought if they liked fun, attractive books, they'd probably like magazines too. Grown-ups read magazines, why shouldn't children? A message with rhymes, riddles, recipes, stories, adorned with crisp copperplate engravings. Working in the back of his bookshop or chatting with his chums in the tavern, John's mind bubbled with more ideas. For older children, he printed books about arithmetic, geography, astronomy, and other subjects, including one taught by a pretend boy philosopher named Tom Telescope. Then John came up with his most ingenious product for youngsters yet, a novel. Grown-ups were reading novels, why shouldn't the little masters and ladies? One long, luscious story to savor for several days. The history of Little Goody Two-Shoes is about a raggedy orphan who is left to wander the roads. Despite many misfortunes, this girl betters herself. She carves out her own alphabet blocks and teaches poor children. She strolls around with a dog, a lamb, and various birds that she has rescued and educated. Ralph, her pet raven, even writes poems. Though she starts off penniless, Goody ends up marrying a country squire rich enough to own a coach and six. A coach and six? In those days, that was like riding in a luxury car. Goody went from rags to riches without a fairy godmother. She did it through study, hard work, and kindness. You can too, the book was saying, and John believed it. Goody Two-Shoes became a smash hit both in England and across the ocean in America. To this day, its author is a mystery. All the books John published for his little friends, as he called them, were written anonymously or by people with silly made-up names. Another of John's books was about a tumultuous fair, and its dedication was signed, you know who. But everyone knew who. Who else had a shop that sold ABC books, gift books, books about Tom Thumb and Giles Gingerbread, books of jokes and riddles, books of science, history, and geography that were loved so hard, that were thumbed so often that they came apart at the spine? Who else sold thousands of copies, inspiring other publishers to start making delightful books for young people? John Newbery, the father of children's literature. Huzzah! The grand design in the nurture of children is to make them strong, hardy, healthy, virtuous, wise, and happy.